Beijing Conference promotes sustainable transport infrastructure. Thousands of experts, activists and business leaders from over 100 countries took part in the second UN Global Sustainable Transport Conference in Beijing October 14 to 16, the United Nations Department of Global Communications said in a press release at the close of the conference. It said participants called for accelerating progress towards achieving sustainable transport that would result in major reductions in greenhouse gas emissions and in improving the lives of millions of people. Participants agreed that without a profound shift to sustainable mobility, achieving the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals, already off track, would be impossible, the press release said. The Transport Conference was held before the 2021 UN Climate Change Conference taking place October 31 to November 12 in Glasgow in the United Kingdom. Parties to the conference will discuss ways to accelerate progress towards meeting the Paris Agreement and Sustainable Development Goals. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said in a video message to the conference, COVID-19 has pushed an estimated 120 million people into extreme poverty, 160 million into hunger, and set back education for around 100 million children. We are further from realizing the Sustainable Development Goals on climate, ocean, and biodiversity than we were when they were agreed 6 years ago. Guterres warned that the door on climate action was closing unless decarbonization of all means of transport is imposed in order to get to net zero emissions by 2050 globally. He called also for phasing out the production of internal combustion engine vehicles by 2035 for leading manufacturing countries, and by 2040 for developing countries. We have the opportunity now to capture the innovation and technology that can revolutionize transport, said Conference Secretary-General Liu Zhenmin, UN Under-Secretary-General for Economic and Social Affairs. But these new technologies have to work for everyone. We have the solutions, and now we need the global cooperation to ensure that sustainable transport will be the engine that powers our efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and the objectives of the Paris Agreement. The press release said remote rural communities and vulnerable groups in countries with special conditions risk being left behind as the number of new and emerging transport-related technologies increase. More than $2 trillion of transport infrastructure investments will be needed each year until 2040 to fuel economic development. There is also a need for stronger policies on road safety measures and regulations on the import of new and used vehicles. The UN said over 1 billion people worldwide still have no adequate access to all-weather roads, including some 450 million people in Africa. It said over 70% of the total global rural population remain unconnected to transport infrastructure and systems, and car fuel emissions killed about 400,000 people.
With the latest news on the United Nations and the world, make sure to subscribe to this Facebook account by clicking the button above this video. See you next time.